everybody. Thank you for coming back to see us. I'm Luis Guzman. Mark is not with us today, but he will be next time. Hopefully, he'll enjoy what I've done running solo and the topics that we've chosen. And the one that we're going to talk about today is the rite of passage of AppSec maturity, meaning I've got a son that just came back from this really cool extended missions trip that he was in Kona, he was in Peru, he was in the jungles of the Amazon. And he came back and he said, Dad, thank you for my bed. Thank you for the shower. Thank you for all the things that he had taken, um, for granted, really, before he left. Now he's just so grateful, right? Because he understood there was a maturity button that just clicked and he was able to say, man, I've had all this in front of me and I wasn't paying attention. And now he is. So that brings me into today's topic of rites of passage, because having a maturity into your environment means that you might have all of these scanning tools that come through, that you might have all of these parts and pieces that are disparate systems everywhere, but you need to be able to put them into a maturity model that eventually is going to take you to step 3 and 5 and 7, and then you keep progressing that maturity. And then you're going to have to keep doing it and making people aware, because the way that the market is right now with the instability and vulnerability that we're going to talk about in another show, the rites of passage is going to be done and potentially reviewed and repeated every 6 months or so, because you have to make sure that you're training new people, make sure that you're reviewing with the people that have already done it with awareness and understanding how this is changing the conversation of the maturity stance that you have today. Well, what do I mean? That means that today, if you don't have a ticketing system, then you might want to get a ticketing system in the next few weeks so that you could have the ability to track issues that were happening today, that were opened up, who, what, when, where, why, how, and who cares about the if, because now you can track it. You can track it from where it started, you can track it from where it ended, and there's conversation pieces all the way through. So now you have a historical of what ensued at the beginning. You even have phone numbers that potentially are associated to an incident response team, so that you now have internally moved the needle in the right direction. Now, I don't think we ever achieve perfect nirvana and we get there and we are 100% made the way we will always be, which is perfect. No, that's never going to happen. But what we can do is we can have progression, right? There was a good book called Atomic Habits. And in that, the whole concept of the book is that you're moving in the right direction of positive incremental changes, percentages, so that when you look back, you've now seen the progress that you made. But even though you didn't know back then that you were moving in small little steps, it gets you to that next level. So another part of the maturity cycle is understanding who owns the tools that are scanning your network today, right? So ownership and stewardship, right? We've talked about that in previous shows. And being able to make sure that the rites of passage is actually going to be something that we get there. What do I mean by rites of passage? Let me step back a little bit, right? Because a rites of passage to me, it means that you went from immaturity to maturity. Whatever that event in your life might have been, if it was going off into your friend's house who lived 2 miles away from you, you went on your bike, you felt that that was a rite of passage, because in a lot of the Native American tribes and in indigenous tribes in Peru and Africa, there's a rite of passage for young people to go from immaturity to maturity. And now you're considered an adult with the big boys and the big girls, right? You're able to sit at the Thanksgiving table with the adults as opposed to sitting at the Thanksgiving table with the kids. Right. So there's a rite of passage in there. And inside of AppSec, if you have a model that you start with, be flexible enough to pivot and change in case that model needs to be bettered, or maybe you have to reel it back because it wasn't working with the, calling everybody at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Friday. Not everybody responds positively to that, and different time zones. So now there's little incremental changes, but you have to be able to track it. You have to be able to record it. You have to be able to see that that's happening, and then being able to rinse and repeat over and over again until you get to a place to this was the goal, and then you work backwards, right? And then you start saying in the working backwards, these are the steps to get back to my main goal, right? And so having a letter grade A, B, C, D, E, F, that's not a bad idea. Having a number grade, 1 to 10, 1 to 100, whatever it is, now you have something to be able to measure. So let's keep that in mind. Let's think about how we can use the AppSec maturity model, and then getting to that location, wherever that location is in the future. Thank you so much. I will see you guys next time, and enjoy your weekend, your week, wherever you're at, your month. Enjoy it. Talk to you. Bye.
Hi everyone, Let's Talk AppSecOps is going on the road. We're going to be live from RSA 2023, so if you can't make it, join us virtually. We'll do an expo tour, we'll do a highlight reel, we're going to do some great interviews with folks talking about the software security practices. We're going to see what's new. If you can come, check it out, track me down, let's have a quick chat. Would love to get you on camera. Take care, enjoy the next episode.